My boyfriend doesn't have sex with me anymore and I am sad, what can I do? So, there I was, just another night in my too quiet apartment, scrolling through TikTok and pretending that the void in my love life wasn't gnawing at me. I glanced at the clock, 9:43 p.m., 3 weeks since I last saw him. My phone buzzed on the coffee table, making me jump. It was a text from Liam. My heart did its usual somersaults, a strange mix of excitement and anxiety that had become all too familiar. Hey babe, how was your day? How was my day? I stared at the screen, the words blurring together. How could I even begin to explain the knot of frustration and sadness that had settled in my chest? Liam and I had been together for 3 years. 3 long years filled with laughter, love, and, more recently, a lot of heartache. We used to have this incredible connection, the kind that made me believe in soulmates, but for the past 4 months, our sex life had evaporated into thin air, and I was left wondering what went wrong. I typed a reply, fingers hovering over the screen, erasing and retyping my words until I settled on something that felt safe. Hey, it was okay, just work and stuff, how about you? I hit send and leaned back, my mind drifting to when we first met. It was the summer of my junior year at college. I was 21, carefree, and full of dreams. Liam was 26, a bit older, already out in the world, and seemed to have his life together. We clicked instantly. He was kind, attentive, and had this way of looking at me like I was the only person in the room. Our relationship had always felt like a warm, safe haven in the chaos of life. But somewhere along the line, that warmth had cooled, and I was left shivering in the cold. My phone buzzed again. Work was stressful, but I'm glad to be done for the day. Wish I could see you. I sighed, my fingers tightening around the phone. His words were always so sweet, but they felt hollow now. A painful reminder that while he might wish to see me, it never seemed to translate into action, especially not in the bedroom. Liam and I had always had this amazing chemistry. I remember our first kiss like it was yesterday. We were at a party, the music was loud, and the air was thick with the scent of cheap beer and perfume. He leaned in, his lips brushing against mine, and it was like fireworks exploded inside me. Our relationship took off from there, and for the first couple of years, everything was perfect. We couldn't keep our hands off each other. Every moment we spent together was electric, filled with passion and a sense of discovery. But then things started to change. At first, it was subtle. He would come home from work exhausted, and I understood, everyone has tough days. But then the tough days became tough weeks, and eventually, tough months. We would go to bed, and instead of the intimate moments we used to share, he would roll over and fall asleep, leaving me staring at the ceiling, feeling more alone than ever. I tried everything. I talked to him, told him how I felt, how much I missed the closeness we used to have. He would nod, hold me, tell me he loved me, but nothing changed. He said he was stressed, dealing with anxiety from his past. I did my best to support him, to be there for him, but my own needs were going unmet, and it was starting to take its toll on me. Being in a long-distance relationship didn't help either. We lived 3 hours apart, which meant that our time together was limited to weekends and the occasional holiday. For a while, we made it work. Every visit was filled with excitement, and we would spend hours catching up, sharing stories, and making love. But recently, even our visits had lost their spark. We would spend the weekends watching movies, going for walks, and talking about everything except the elephant in the room, our lack of intimacy. I tried to be patient. I told myself that relationships go through phases, that this was just a rough patch. But as the weeks turned into months, my patience started to wear thin. I missed the way he used to look at me, the way he would hold me, the way he made me feel wanted. Now, all I got were pecks on the forehead and half-hearted hugs. It hurt. It hurt more than I wanted to admit. I felt like I was failing, like I wasn't enough for him. I started to wonder if there was something wrong with me. Maybe I wasn't attractive enough, or interesting enough. Maybe he had fallen out of love with me, and I was too blind to see it. One night, after yet another awkward video call where we talked about everything but what mattered, I decided I couldn't take it anymore. I had to know what was going on. I needed answers. Liam, Can we talk about something? I asked, my voice trembling. He looked at me, his expression unreadable. Of course, what's on your mind? I took a deep breath, trying to steady myself. I've been feeling really lonely lately. I miss the way things used to be between us. I miss the intimacy, the connection we had. It feels like we're just going through the motions, and it's breaking my heart. There was a long silence. I could see the conflict in his eyes, the way he was struggling to find the right words. Finally, he sighed and rubbed his temples. I know, and I'm sorry. I've been dealing with a lot of stuff from my past. It's not about you, it's me. I've been feeling really overwhelmed, and it's affected my ability to be intimate. I didn't want to burden you with it because I thought I could handle it on my own, but I guess I was wrong. His words were like a punch to the gut. Part of me was relieved that it wasn't my fault, but another part of me was angry. Angry that he had kept this from me, that he had let me suffer in silence. But most of all, I was sad. Sad that the man I loved was hurting so much and that there was nothing I could do to help him. Why didn't you tell me? I asked, my voice breaking. I'm your girlfriend. I want to be there for you, but I can't if you shut me out. He reached out and took my hand, his eyes filled with regret. I know, and I'm sorry. I just didn't know how to talk about it. It's something I've been struggling with for a long time, and I thought if I ignored it, it would go away. But it hasn't, and I know it's hurting you, and that's the last thing I want. We sat there in silence, holding hands, each lost in our thoughts. I didn't know what the future held for us, but I knew that if we were going to make it through this, we had to face it together. I loved him too much to give up now. In the weeks that followed, we talked more openly about his struggles. He started seeing a therapist, which was a huge step for him. I did my best to support him, to be patient and understanding. It wasn't easy. There were times when I felt like I was walking on eggshells, afraid to say or do the wrong thing. But I loved him, and I was willing to do whatever it took to help him heal. We also worked on reconnecting as a couple. We started having date nights again, even if they were just virtual. We made an effort to be more affectionate, to show each other that we cared. And slowly, very slowly, things started to improve. It wasn't a magical fix. There were still days when he felt overwhelmed, when his anxiety got the better of him. But there were also days when he would look at me with that same love and adoration that he used to, and it gave me hope. One weekend, about 2 months after our conversation, we had planned a trip to the mountains. It was supposed to be a chance for us to relax and reconnect away from the stress of everyday life. I was nervous, unsure of what to expect, but also hopeful that this trip could be a turning point for us. We arrived at the cabin late in the afternoon. The air was crisp, and the leaves were just starting to turn golden. It was the perfect setting for a romantic getaway. We spent the evening cooking dinner together, laughing and reminiscing about old times. There was a lightness in the air that I hadn't felt in months. After dinner, we went for a walk by the lake. The moon was high in the sky, casting a silver glow over the water. We held hands, the silence between us comfortable and reassuring. As we sat down on a bench overlooking the lake, Liam turned to me, his eyes filled with an emotion I couldn't quite place. I've missed this, he said softly, squeezing my hand. I've missed us. My heart swelled at his words. Me too, I replied, leaning my head on his shoulder. I've missed you so much. We sat there for a long time, just enjoying the moment. For the first time in months, I felt truly connected to him. And in that moment, I realized that while our journey had been filled with pain and uncertainty, it had also made us stronger. We had faced our demons together, and we were still standing. As the months passed, Liam continued his therapy, and our relationship slowly began to heal. It wasn't perfect. There were still challenges, still moments of doubt and frustration. But we were committed to each other, to making it work. We found new ways to be intimate, to reconnect on a deeper level. It wasn't just about sex anymore. It was about being there for each other, about understanding and supporting one another. We learned to communicate better, to be more open about our needs and feelings. And while our sex life eventually did improve, it became just one part of a much richer, more fulfilling relationship. We rediscovered the joy of being together, of sharing our lives and dreams. We learned that love isn't just about the good times, but about standing by each other through the tough times as well. Looking back, I realized that our journey was a testament to the strength of our love. We faced challenges that could have torn us apart, but instead, they brought us closer. We learned to see each other not just as lovers, but as partners, as teammates in this crazy game of life. Liam taught me that love isn't always easy, but it's always worth fighting for. He showed me that sometimes, the most important battles are the ones we fight together, side by side. And in the end, that's what made us stronger. That's what made our love deeper and more enduring than ever before. So, as I sit here, writing these words, I'm filled with a sense of gratitude. Grateful for the love we share, for the lessons we've learned, and for the future we're building together. It hasn't been an easy journey, but it's been a beautiful one. And I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.